in the early 80s when they found the Titanic. So I am a Titanic buff from way before the movie came out. When the movie came out, I was in college and I was just like, oh, give me a break. I don't need any of that Leonardo DiCaprio stuff. This is just, I just was very, you know, I knew much more about the Titanic than, you know, James Cameron, the director, did. So, and my mom has always told me that it's, I actually just love ships in general. So, but the Titanic, they discovered the Titanic when I was a kid, Dr. Ballard did. And my mom actually told me that when she was in the hospital, when I was born, she was reading Walter Lord's A Night to Remember. She said, so something must just have gotten in your head from the time you were born.
Wow.
So I have been kind of a Titanic buff since as long as I can remember. And I found that print and thought, I got to put that up in my house.
You know, if you see a picture of the Titanic superimposed with a modern, really large cruise ship, the Titanic is tiny.
I know. Isn't it crazy? But yeah, I love ships. I do not have any Navy veterans in my family, but I love ships. I actually have a print of the USS Arizona in my house. That's pretty important Remembrance Day coming up here, December 7th. And the Lusitania I've been to the Lusitania Memorial in Ireland. And I don't know, ships just have fascinated me since I was a kid.
There's excuse me, there's an audio book called A Man and His Ship. It's about this the ocean liner, the United States, and the building of it, and how the race for faster kept going. And I think the ship is still floating. I think in the East Coast somewhere, it's in pretty dire straits.
Really?
It's an interesting book called A Man and His Ship. You can get it on audio.
Huh, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
I don't know, has anybody been to Pearl Harbor and been on the USS Missouri there? It's pretty incredible.
Yes.
It's such a great battleship. I'm so glad we still have her so that we can, you know, go on board and learn her history, and also that she's the USS Missouri, you know.
All right. Yeah, Tom's family used to have barges, and so he's a river guy. His first career.
I'm an active cyclist, would probably be a fair assumption since I've ridden every day for 140 days. But many rides along the Mississippi and near the Missouri. And there's new technology now called Vessel Tracker, where I can look on the computer and see what vessel it is and see if I know them.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm patting myself on the back, but I was riding up along the Alton River Road, and there was a boat waiting, and the crew was out on the barges, and I talked to them for a minute. And the towboat had a new name, and I asked the crew, is this the old R.H. Huffman? And they were like, what? How do you know that? I was in the barge business for 40 years. So yeah, you learn stuff. And I used to get the Waterways Journal magazine, which is pretty intense. And a couple of weeks ago, I was going to ride in Illinois, and I saw a barge northbound on the Missouri with wind turbine blades, and they fill up a whole barge, like 3 high. And I thought, I got to go get a picture of this. So I rode up Highway 94 in St. Charles County. And I know a spot, and I waited, and he came up. Well, the next day, I went to ride over. We crossed the river at St. Charles off Page Extension on bikes, and the barge was tied up there. They stayed there for like 3 or 4 days until they got underway again. But that's how they get the big turbines up to the wind farms.
Yeah.
They're so huge.
River's easier than anything else.
I think, yeah, well, that's nice.
Had an opportunity a number of years ago in San Diego to go on the USS Midway.
Oh.
And just walking the entire flight deck from stem to stern is just, you don't realize how huge it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Or how small it is if when you're in an airplane.
Well, yeah, when you're trying to land on that flight deck.
Uh-huh.
Somebody made a comment, and I can't remember who it was now. I want to say it was Cunningham, but made a comment that landing on the flight deck is like putting this is the old style, the postage stamp that you used to have to lick. Put it glue side up on your living room floor, stick your tongue out and dive at it and see if it sticks to your tongue. If it did, it was a good landing. He said nighttime
also-
landing, do the same thing, just turn out the lights.
I heard if you stick your arm out and your thumb silhouette is smaller than the ship. So if we're looking down, if you hold your thumb out, the ship is smaller than that. So it's pretty small target. And I just finished another book on aviators, and they were talking about landing on aircraft carriers where the aircraft carrier has to be going into the wind, or should be going into the wind to land. So you have the combination of the 20 knots of the ship plus 20, 30 knots of the wind. So you're not coming in hot. And conversely, taking off, you have to do the opposite. And there was great debate in World War II on sending bombers to Japan, that they had never had big bombers on an aircraft carrier. And they actually had to send the bombers off, knowing they're not going to come back. They scheduled them to land in China, which was a fiasco because no one was ready in China to receive them. They just pretty much crash landed. And most of them got out okay, most of them, but not all. But anyway, that's enough history lessons. So,
Oh, it's okay by me. I like to talk history. I can go down some rabbit holes.
yeah, I was a school board member for 14 years, and one of our speakers was David McCullough. And hard to believe he lectured us as the school board members from all over the country. You got to teach history. And I totally agree, because, the old story, if you don't, you might repeat it. And also all this political shenanigans going on now, this was happening 100 years ago too, backstabbing.
Name calling.
Oh yeah. So,
yeah. Sometimes I have to remind myself that, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams they had some pretty good names for each other.
Yep.
So.
Most of which cannot be printed.
Right. I have a cat that wants to be in my lap. So
Join the crowd.
Yeah, he's big boy. I know.
Nice.
My lap, don't you?
All right. Well, I think we've given everybody an opportunity to get here. So why don't we start off our meeting with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty, justice for all.
And justice for all.
All right. So we start this Veterans Day off with, we have a silent prayer for those that have served our country, those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. I myself have not served, but my father was a Navy veteran, so I remember him especially today, and all of those that have served. I don't think we have a veteran online right now, do we?
I was in Korea.
Oh, that's right.
Today.
Oh,
sorry, Al. I knew you and Courtney and who else was I thinking? Didn't Mike serve at some point? Michael Chance, wasn't he in the military, Jerry? Anyway, we remember all of those with a moment of silence, if we will.
Sorry, I had to go let my dog in. I'm trying that new Wi-Fi hookup that I told you about. So
Okay.
I'm not sure about Mike, but am I coming through okay? Am I causing any problems?
No
Okay,
problems.
good.
You're a little staggered.
Okay. All right. I'm going to mute again and go let my dog back in.
All right. Our official moment of silence. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for all those that have given the ultimate sacrifice for our great country. We ask for your blessing upon our nation, for healing upon our pandemic of disease and politics, that you may be with us all. God bless the USA. All this we ask in your Son's name. Amen. So with that, do we have any special announcements for the club before we get our program starting? Anybody got anything important? Tom?
The Boy Scouts are looking for help on the 21st at the West Community Fire Station on Midland to help receive groceries that the Boy Scouts collect. The basic premise will be they're looking for about 8 people. I've committed, Joy and I, we want to do it. But they basically, when the cars with the bags of food show up, we will go out to their car, put it in a grocery cart that we get from Family Dollar, and then roll it into the fire station. There will not be a lot of sorting that day. It'd be from probably 9:30 until about 2:30. I'm looking forward to it because I've missed doing some kind of hands-on stuff. So if anybody wants to join in, please let me know. If not, I'm going to put it out to a few other surrounding clubs to get a handful of people. They're going to limit it to 10 people, so it won't be, wall-to-wall people. And masks are required, obviously. So I hope someone will join us. And oh, Jerry, are you at this home or are you out in the country home?
He's
Jerry,
in
no?
This is out in the country. So,
Okay, good.
and this is the first time I've been able to get online with Zoom. T-Mobile has a new service that they're marketing to rural areas, and it's just kind of like a home internet kit, and I hooked it up yesterday, so I'm running it through its paces before it gets before I commit to it. And I just got a notice on my screen that it's unstable, so it's we'll see. At least this is more than I get with HughesNet, which is, again, as I've said many times, if anybody suggests HughesNet, tell them no. So
Okay.
it's just, we're trying to find the right thing because this is within probably the next 5 or 6 years, this will be our retirement place. So it's wonderful. It's marvelous. Had fun.
As you went away.
Gone.
Oh, I was
Go
gonna
on.
say we could hear him fine.
We could.
He was frozen, but
Yeah.
Well, it's cold there.
All right.
Right.
So Tom, I have a memorial service that I'm conducting that day, so I will not be available. So if other people can let Tom know if they can serve, that would be great. Maybe Dave, you can include that in the newsletter.
Yep, I will do that.
Sounds good.
I make a note because I won't remember.
All right. So Al, would you like to introduce Mandy for us?
Well, I'd be glad to. First time I've seen her this morning, and very fortunate. Like I say, it's the best day in the world. Veterans Day and USO, they work together. So Mandy, whenever you're ready, why, let's hear all good stuff.
okay. Of course, that's right when my cat wants to join me. I put him down. He just, he's a cat. He doesn't know the word no. Well, actually, he knows it. He doesn't care. So I do have notes, and I have some pictures and a video I'm eventually going to share with you. I'm going to try to get my tech working, and hopefully everything works out. Thank you, Al, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for your service. Wow, a Korean vet. That's a war that people need to learn a lot more about, our young generations. So we appreciate you. I have been at the USO for all of 4 months. I joined right in the middle of all of this chaos and weirdness, but it was a great move for me. I couldn't be happier to be at the USO. I was actually very happy in my previous job, which was animal welfare. I worked for the APA in Brentwood. doing the same position I do now. I'm the director of development. So I'm a fundraiser. Oh, and I just got really big on the screen. Now that's hard, that's hard because it just means I just sit and look at myself. Anyway, I was happy at my job. I was curious just to see what was going on in the world as far as the nonprofit world and just who was hiring. So I went online and there was the USO position. And I thought, you know, if I was going to leave the APA, which I love, for any place, it would be the USO. But like I said, I wasn't looking for a job, and I left it alone. I didn't apply. I let it go for a month. A month later, it was still there. I thought, I wonder if this is still open. I sent in my resume. A month and a half later, like I heard on July 2nd. So I thought, ooh, our founding fathers have given me a new job at the USO. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty great. And I love the mission. I love our active military, our veterans, our volunteers are awesome people. And yeah, it just feels like the right fit. Not to mention I'm a big Bob Hope fan. I'm pretty sure you cannot work for the USO without loving Bob Hope. I'll try not to talk too long about myself here, but you did say I could talk for a while. So I thought, well, I gotta pad it a little bit. I'm from Sikeston, Missouri, originally down in the Boot Heel. Some of you may know Sikeston. It's known for Lambert's Throwed Rolls and the rodeo, Sikeston J.C. Boot Heel Rodeo. It's also this is something a lot of people don't realize. This is why Sikeston thinks it's a little southern town, even though it's in a Midwestern state. But it is the farthest north you can go and see the cotton fields. They just actually, they not process, they picked all the cotton. Of course, they do it with machines now, big machines. But I was down there a month ago and saw them rolling it all up. And it's always really, it's really neat to see. Although the defoliation that they do will give you some major allergies. But and Sikeston is a little town of 17,000, and they still have cotton fields in the middle of town. So that's where I'm from. My family is still there. All of my family, except for 3 of us that we lovingly say we escaped. That's me, my little sister, who is a silent film preservationist out in Hollywood, California. And my first cousin that I'm very close to is in the Army, and he and his family are in their 2nd assignment in Wiesbaden, Germany. So I'm hoping if everything calms down, maybe next Christmas I'll get to go and visit him in Germany, because there's nothing like Christmas in Germany. If anybody has been there, under happy times, it's really cool. So I moved to St. Charles 12 years ago to get my master's degree. I got my history degree at Southeast Missouri State University in Cape Girardeau. And I got a history degree, not because I wanted to be a teacher, although there's a part of me that just I like to inform people. I want to be a teacher in some ways, but in other ways, I didn't want to be a teacher because I wasn't sure I could take teenagers, because I knew I wasn't the best teenager. In some ways, I was actually a really good kid, but I know I was maddening at times. But I was a history major because that's what I liked. I went through the class catalog and said, all right, if I'm going to spend 4 years in college, I need to decide what I like. So I just circled all the classes that I would take, and they were mostly history and foreign languages. It's like, well, that's what we're going to do. I moved to St. Charles 12 years ago. I worked I worked for Main Street Sikeston right out of college, and then Southeast Missouri Food Bank. And I was a grant writer. I was a good writer, being a history major. And I got into the grant writing niche, which has really been the reason why I've stayed in the nonprofit sector. That's it's competitive. It's a competitive field, grant writing. And but I did move to St. Charles 12 years ago to get my master's degree at Lindenwood in nonprofit administration. And from there, I worked for Rankin Technical College in the city. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with that, but it's a great school. They do good things. I come from a family of construction workers, and the trades are very, very important. not only to me, but to the world. So we got to get more kids okay with their technical education. I'm sorry if I've got some funky shadows too. I am right, the sun comes right through, as you can see, my front window, and so I kind of just have to deal with the natural light in my house. After Rankin, I was a grant writer at Variety, the children's charity in Maryland Heights, or based in Maryland Heights, but they help children with disabilities. I worked for the APA in Brentwood, and now I'm at the USO. My military family, my grandpa Pratt was a tech sergeant in World War II in the European theater. He was an IBM computer guy. They had big trucks all over Europe that had these huge IBM computers in them. And he went all over Europe and did that. He was an information guy. I've always found that interesting because I know this thing right here has more information in it, can do more than that huge computer in that truck. I think he would find this absolutely astounding. My grandparents are no longer with me. They missed out on the whole phone thing. So my other grandpa, my mom's dad, was a second lieutenant in the, when he started, Army Air Corps, then it was the Army Air Force. Of course, after World War II, it became the Air Force. He was a B-17 navigator in Europe. His B-17, well, let's see, right there. Let's see if I can do this. That's my grandpa. I have my other grandpa, but he's over there somewhere. So that's my grandpa Lannis, my second lieutenant and the B-17 navigator. His B-17's name was Butch, and Butch was shot down by the Germans, but their pilot landed them safely in the Swiss Alps, where they were captured by the Swiss. If anybody tries to tell you Switzerland's neutral, come and talk to me, because my grandpa was held as a Swiss internee for over a year until the end of the war. He did not get the designation prisoner of war though, in his because the Swiss were neutral. So that's always kind of a little sticking point. My grandpa couldn't leave. He couldn't fulfill his mission. He almost died, crashing. So yeah, the Swiss. I'm sure it's a lovely country. I'm sure it's lovely people, but I always have to, whenever I hear Switzerland being a neutral country, I think of the probably only about 300 men that were held captive as Swiss internees, but I always think about those 300 families that know better. My boyfriend is a Marine vet. He was a helicopter mechanic stationed in Okinawa. And then I mentioned my first cousin, who is a commander in the Army in Germany right now. So I look back and I wish I had joined the military. I'm officially too old. I really, of course, we were talking about my love of ships. I wish I had joined the Navy, but I was not smart enough as an 18-year-old to make that decision for myself. So right now, though, I'm pretty excited. I'm participating in the honorary commander program at Scott Air Force Base for the next 2 years. I didn't earn it, but it's awfully cool. I was just out at Scott Air Force Base a couple of days ago, and I'm getting to learn all about the operations support at Scott Air Force Base. Sorry. Okay, so enough about me. USO, I know that's what you all want to hear about. So the USO, of course, is a national organization formed in 1941 under FDR during the war. Everybody, I think whenever anybody thinks about the USO, they think of Bob Hope. They think of World War II. They think of the canteens, coffee and donuts for the boys. My boyfriend actually tells me that, when he thinks of the USO, he just thinks of a kind of a relaxing place to sit at the airport, maybe get a little food. And I think that's what a lot of people think. But I'm going to tell you a lot about our other programs and hopefully open up a new world about the USO. So the USO of Missouri is a charter of the USO. We are one of the largest, and we are independent in our finances and our programs. They are all our own. So when you give to the USO of Missouri, your donation remains local. Our mission is to strengthen America's military service members by keeping them connected to family, home, and country throughout their service to the nation. We serve active duty military, reserves, retired career military, National Guard units, and military families throughout the entire state of Missouri. So it isn't just local St. Louis. We serve all corners of the state. Although we are trying to reach out more. I think a lot of people thought, oh, it's the St. Louis airport, and it's more than that. We also serve 4 counties in Illinois, right around Scott Air Force Base, Monroe, Madison, St. Clair, and Jersey. The St. Louis facility, the St. Louis Airport facility in Terminal 1, the James S. McDonnell USO, was actually the first USO facility opened in September 1981. There were USOs back during the World War II and Korea and Vietnam, but in its present form, it was started in 1981, the McDonnell facility. We just celebrated our 39th birthday. I don't know if anybody saw that online, but we're trying to do fun new things with our social media. Since 1981, we've served over 5 million military personnel and their families, and we serve about 235,000 annually in a normal year. 2020 has not been normal, but our doors are still open, and our numbers are going to be a little down this year. That's just normal, but we're helping in other ways. So it's probably all just going to even out in some weird way. We haven't quite figured it out yet, but well, we're figuring it out as we go. So the James S. McDonnell USO is in Terminal 1, St. Louis Lambert International Airport. It is one of the largest facilities in the United States. Actually, internationally, there are USOs internationally, wherever, almost in all the big places. You'll find a lot of USOs in Germany. And there's some over in the Pacific as well. We have a Terminal 2 we have a facility, a smaller facility in Terminal 2, the Southwest Terminal. Of course, Southwest has really grown over the years, so that terminal, or that USO, gets a little more, it's getting more and more usage as time goes on. This year during COVID, so usually we're open, our facility, the Terminal 1 facility is usually open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because of the COVID limitations in St. Louis County, we have capped the amount of people that can be in there, which is currently 30. Technically, I think we could get up to 50, but we keep it at 30 just for safety precautions, and it works out. And we're also open Monday through Friday, 7 to 4. A lot of our volunteers are really starting to, they're getting the itch that they want to get back to work, the 24-hour shifts, which is great. We have over 800 volunteers who make our mission possible, many of whom are retired veterans. And last year they served 59,822 hours for the USO across all of our programs. But they're really wanting to get back in there. And as soon as our executive director just looks at the rules constantly and tries to make the best decision for everybody. We are social distancing and we are wearing masks in the facility. So we're doing the best we can. And we're serving the military whenever they come through. And they've been really great too. As far as they wait out. When we get a bus, we'll get grad buses, and sometimes we can get 6 grad buses at once. And so we've got all of these service members, they're lined up outside the USO and they wait their turn, and we get everybody through and we feed them, and it all works out. But on average in St. Louis Airport, we welcome about 80,000 on an average year. When everybody was closed down at the beginning of COVID, we were closed for a couple, maybe 4 weeks, no longer than we had to be. But even during those times that we were closed down, we handed out food to go and just food and supplies. And we just did whatever we could within the limitations. Let's see, I was going to share some pictures. So let's see what I can figure out. I'm sorry if it looks weird that I'm looking, but I'm looking for my. So hopefully, can you see my pictures here?
Yep, you're good.
Cool. Okay. I don't know if you can see this larger. I just made one picture larger. I don't know if that worked.
That one, no, you see your cursor and then a diagonal screen, but that's all.
Here we go. Maybe this will work. Sorry, I'm not the best at tech.
There you go.
That better?
Yeah,
Cool.
that did it.
All right. Okay. So this is, I took this picture maybe a month or so ago of this young Marine. And this is our facility. It's just one little part of our facility. This is our canteen area and that's one of our volunteers. This young Marine was getting something to drink and getting some food. And I said, can I take a picture? And he's like, yeah, do you want us to look at the camera? Or do you want us to look like we're talking to each other? He was all about it, and I said, well, let me take a couple of both. So they're just, again, we have great volunteers, and the men and women that come through are just so good. They're so respectful. I have never been called ma'am so many times in my life. I mean, and it just, I don't know, they make me smile. The day these Marines went through there, and I learned they were Marines, and I was just headed out the door really quick to just run an errand, and one of them was signing in, and I said, "Oh, Semper Fi," and he went, "Hoorah!" This is great. So let's see. I think I have these in order. We also have a USO on post at Fort Leonard Wood down in rural Missouri, where we serve over 76,000 annually. This is its own freestanding 18,000 square foot facility, and it has been closed. They've had some orders that have kept it closed. There's been a lot of quarantine in Fort Leonard Wood, but it is scheduled to reopen December 1st. Just because they've been closed doesn't mean they haven't been working hard to support the military down there. They have been distributing food and supplies to those on post, especially the quarantine. We just calculated that they have supplied over 917,000 pieces of food and supplies, and I'm not sure pieces is the right word, but I think you understand just the items that we've been supplying them. So we actually, this is a little bit of news. Now, I don't know how far reaching it's gotten, but we are going to be opening a USO facility at Kansas City International, the new airport. We're really trying to reach out to that side of the state because of course we do serve the entire state of Missouri, and there are we'll be working with the USO of Kansas a little bit, because a lot of the service members that come through Kansas City will be going over there into Kansas. So, but that's good. We like to have good relationship with all of the USOs, and we've all got the same mission. We do things in different ways, but so you can look for us to open at KCI in 2022, 2023. We broke ground in November, but apparently it is a long process. So, well, I think they're building a new airport out there. We do currently support a MEPS office, that's military entrance processing, in Kansas City. So we have volunteers out there, and we give them the necessary support. This year we've had about 8,300 new recruits pass through that office. So there's definitely a need in Kansas City for more USO support and programs, and we're going to try to make that happen. So that's the facilities, but we have other programs. So our mobile USO is really what allows us to serve the entire state and those 4 counties in Illinois. We have 2 mobile USOs. They're basically 2 traditional canteens. They serve food. That's what they do. And it's something we've been doing the mobile USOs so well that National is basically taking a tip from us, and they are planning their mobile programs to copy ours. So that tells us we're doing good things. And right now we have 2. They have been working a little less this year, but it's starting to pick up. I mean, now we're back to our weekends are full 4 days a week. And in a normal year, it can be a couple of events a day. But 4 days a week is pretty good right now. They go all over. They've served in let's see, in 2019, they served over 67,000. They traveled over 26,000 miles within the state. We go to homecomings, deployments, morale boosters, really anything the military, any branch of the military asks us to come and support, we will do it, whether it's breakfast or lunch or snacks or whatever. I heard recently that a National Guard unit requested a pancake breakfast. Well, we've never done that before, but we're figuring out how to do it. So our primary service areas for things like this, for events like this, are going to be Scott Air Force Base, Fort Leonard Wood. Our mobile does go down to Fort Leonard Wood, even though we have a facility there. It goes there to support special events. Whiteman Air Force Base over closer to Kansas City. And but we can go anywhere. Of course, there are National Guard units all over. So I'm going to share with you, hopefully, I can figure it out, a new video. Let's see, that's probably not what I want. What do I need? Maybe just the screen. Let me figure it out. Okay. Does it look like a video? Like I'm going to show you a video. Is there a black screen there?
Yep, you're
okay.
Looks like it's ready to go.
Okay, good. So this, you all are seeing this first. This is a first. We just created this video about our mobile unit. It's only a few minutes long. And this is brand new, ready. It just got approved and they sent it to me this morning. I was like, perfect timing. So I will play this for you. It gives you a little bit of information about our mobile unit, and then I'll jump back on. Let's see.
Wow. Yeah, hot dogs in 20 minutes.
1900, yes, 90 minutes. Wow.
All right. So let's see. Okay. Let me get back here. Okay, can you see that picture? I just popped up a new picture.
Yep, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool. Okay, so in addition, of course, we have direct support. We also support military spouses and military families who also, sacrifice a lot for their service member. I know my cousin's kids have grown up every 2 to 3 years in a different place. I mean, that makes it hard to make friends and just to have to get used to a new school all the time and a new country. It's pretty amazing. And we appreciate them too. We want to show how much we appreciate them too. So we have some programs. Right now we're in the middle. This picture right here is what our warehouse looked like a couple of days ago. I have a feeling it looks a little less organized right now, but it's okay. We have a Thanksgiving program, an annual Thanksgiving program. It's called Give Thanks. And what we do is we provide complete Thanksgiving meals to military families that they're under a certain pay grade. So the ones that have a little bit of financial hardship. Last year, we gave out 2,317 Thanksgiving baskets, so to speak. And they were valued at over 81,000. This year, of course, the need has gone up, and we're going to distribute 2,750 Thanksgiving baskets valued at over $96,000. We're currently fundraising for that. But this is what it looked like when because right now I'm getting ready, I'm going to be going over to the warehouse this morning. We've got some volunteer groups that are putting these baskets together, but that's what the finished product looks like. And what it does include too is a gift card for them to purchase turkey or ham or whatever kind of meat they want. So it's pretty nice, and it's a good way for us to give back to them. And if anybody's interested, I don't know, again, can you see that?
Yep.
Or just giving? Okay, so we're doing just an online promotion just to raise money for this program. So you can actually see this you can see this link on our social media, but it is just giving.com. You can look up USO Give Thanks, and that is there. Let me go back to my pictures. All right. We also we have an event. It used to be called Santa's Express. Now it's called Santa Drop because it used to be at Union Station, and so Santa's Express, it had a whole train theme. And then we realized this year, we're not at Union Station anymore. We're at Busch Stadium. So we changed it to Santa Drop. Santa's dropping off his toys. Usually it is at Busch Stadium, and it's a pretty packed event. You've got about 1,000 military kids and their families. Well, obviously this year we couldn't put 3,000 people in Busch Stadium in but in a room in Busch Stadium. So this year's event is going to be a drive-through event, and what we do is we give gifts to military kids. This year we partnered with Build-A-Bear, and they're providing teddy bears with USO t-shirts on them. It's just pretty cool. Santa's still going to be there. Santa and Mrs. Claus, they're going to be, it's a drive-through event at Busch Stadium. So the kids are going to get their gifts. They're going to get a little packet of hot chocolate and everything. And then at the end, Santa's going to be there, and they're going to have a letter from Santa too. So it's a pretty cute event. Also, this time of year, we are trying to prepare, although we're stuck a little bit just because information. Let's see, I don't know. Oh, okay. My pictures, I'm not quite ready for my next pictures, but so we have something called holiday block leave. And this is when right before Christmas, the Army, and well, all military branches, but for us, it's mostly Army. It's mostly Army from Fort Leonard Wood. They send them all home for 2 weeks for Christmas. And this is usually a 24-hour event in St. Louis Airport. And we feed them. They get nice gifts from some of our vendors. We entertain them. Usually Fred Bird is there from the Cardinals, and Louis is there from the Blues, and Santa. And I mean, these are adults, but they still love it, And it's usually 5,000 service members coming through. Well, this year, we still have 5,000 service members that need to get home. We don't know quite what this is going to look like. We're waiting for the Army to tell us. The Army has said, well, this could be something that happens over 5 days instead of 1 day. Okay, that's good. Still not sure we're going to be able to do social distancing too well, but we're going to do our best. We're still going to feed them. We're still going to support them in every way we can. We just haven't quite figured out what it's going to look like. And we're not going to know until after Thanksgiving. So we're going to have a good 2 to 3 weeks, and that's about it. Other programs that we have to bring military families out and about together. We have family days and spouse events that we host. We have a day at the zoo where we provide tickets for kids and their families to get into some of the areas that you have to pay for generally. We are looking into doing a go-kart race day at Worldwide Technology Raceway this year in Illinois. I know the teens need programs too. I think everybody thinks about, oh, the cute kids, let's give them toys for Christmas. We focus on the kids a lot and we forget the teens, but we're trying not to. We're trying to reach out to them, and we're working with the Spouse Network at Scott Air Force Base we told them, ask your teenage boy what he'd like to do, because a lot of us we're 40-year-old women and we don't really know what teenage boys want to do. So we need a little help. So we're trying to reach out to them. We have baby showers we have a baby shower for, it's a group baby shower for new military moms called Boots and Bundles. And that is something that National USO helps us with. It helps us provide nice gifts for those moms. This year we did it virtually instead of all getting together. And that's a big program down at Fort Leonard Wood, because obviously they have a lot of people, a lot of families down there. And we're brainstorming more ways to support more families this year, and also to reach out to the state. I promise I'm coming down to the end. I know I've talked a while here. So we also have, this is like the great pictures, therapy dog. We have a therapy dog program. These are our Great Danes they're based at Fort Leonard Wood. This is Maverick. He's our current hotshot. Everybody loves Maverick. He is currently our active therapy dog. This is Bandit. Bandit is now retired. Bandit had some issues with his legs, but Bandit has been serving for many years, and he is retired now. And he looks kind of little here. He's about the size of a baby giraffe. I have to say, it's amazing. This is Apache, and Apache is in training. Apache is going to be ready to go in January. So these are our official USO therapy dogs at Fort Leonard Wood, and they come up occasionally. But we also work with local support dog organizations like, just so you can tell. So that's Maverick. It's Maverick and a soldier at Fort Leonard Wood. So that kind of gives you an idea. He's the size of a small pony. They're such cool dogs. But we also work with local support dog organizations like Champ Assistance Dogs and Duo Dogs to bring therapy dogs. They don't belong to us, they belong to volunteers, but they come into the facility. This golden retriever, this is Mr. Rip. Actually, he is retired now. He just got a haircut in this picture, but I love this picture. He's a great dog. He comes to visit us still, even though he's getting older. And then this family was just in a couple of weeks ago. This little dog, she is, her name is Frankie Georgia Pearl. She's a golden retriever Great Pyrenees mix, and she is just the best dog. She's so good. These kids came from Hawaii, their family. They were moving from Hawaii to Fort Leonard Wood. It's like, oh man, that timing. Hawaii to Fort Leonard Wood for the winter. But I would need a therapy dog too. So these kiddos just were so cute and were so good. And Frankie Georgia Pearl just goes over and just seems to know what's needed and just lays down in this little girl's lap. And I got that picture and it's like, it just doesn't get any better than this. This is what it's all about. Just, showing these families that we're here for them. So last year, our therapy dogs, the Great Danes anyway, visited 256 schools around the state, and they spend countless hours with our service members. So I think I've told you everything, or at least given you a good idea. If you're interested in volunteering, we do have we have a little bit of an application process, but you can volunteer as a group. We do have groups that volunteer. Like we have a Knights of Columbus group that volunteers. They take a shift in the facility every once in a while. But you can sign up to volunteer. You can also volunteer with our mobile if that's of interest. And also, if you donate to us, like I said, it stays local. You're helping us serve the troops that pass through Missouri, live and work in Missouri. They may not all be local kids, but they're here and we want to make sure that they are appreciated while they're here. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, I'm welcome to try to answer them. Like I said, I've been here 4 months, so I don't know all the answers, but thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, I have muted most everybody, so if you have a question or something, you'll have to unmute yourself.
I know I talk so long. It's like, how could anybody have any questions? Because I talk so much.
You covered it.
I covered it.
It was very good.
Thank you.
It's been several years since we had a program from the USO, so it's good to get caught up. And so I assume you said you're a grant writer, so you fundraise for them.
Yes.
That's
what I do.
But you're active in everything else, it looks like.
Yeah, we all, I mean, we're a small team. We're a very small team here in St. Louis. There's 7 of us in the office in the facility, 6, 7 of us. And then there's 3 at Fort Leonard Wood. So even we all fundraise in a way because it's just getting the word out and talking to people. But yeah, that's my job is to do all of the formal fundraising and the direct mail pieces and the corporate sponsorships and hoping to get more grants. That's something that they didn't do too much before. There's a lot of us that are new there now. The torch has passed. So we're doing a lot. We're trying to do some new things. You know, but the traditions, it's great because there are several of us that are just really believe in history too, and we don't want to forget. And I think that just comes along with the military, like with days like today and remembrance. So we like to have the traditional, but also we have to move along into the 21st century. So lots of new things.
Have you had major fundraisers canceled this year? With the COVID, have you had things?
Yeah, they had a charity concert that they used to do, and that was usually in the fall down at the pageant, and that was canceled. But in all honesty, we were kind of thinking it was pretty expensive to do that, and we figured there could be a better way. So this allowed us to kind of rethink that. And so next year we're actually joining with a group that already puts on a concert that supports active military and veterans. It's called Freedom Jam. And they have been very successful and wanted to work with us. And yeah, we'd much rather work with people that know what they're doing in the concert world, and we'll just support you. That's what we do best, is support. And that way we could still raise funds but we don't have to plan the concert. So we are not, so that's something that National USO does really well, is they do the entertainment. Obviously, you know, the Bob Hope started off with entertainment, and the National USO still does that. They have the Hollywood connections. Although I have a Hollywood connection, like I mentioned, my sister works in Hollywood. Yeah. But she's a silent film preservationist, so that's very niche. So that was one thing that got canceled this year. We were able to do our biggest fundraiser, which was our annual golf tournament that has been going on for, I think, about 30 years now. And we had it in St. Charles County at Missouri Bluffs, which is beautiful. We did that in August. We, you know, those of us that work and volunteer at the USO wore masks, and we asked everybody to social distance and wear masks in certain areas. But St. Charles, you know, it's got different rules. So, but it all worked out really well. I think everybody, it was a beautiful day, and the sun is really like, it's fading me out. It was a beautiful day. We could not have had a better day for that golf tournament. I think everybody was just itching to be out. So yeah, it wasn't, we're really just have to be flexible and think of new ways to do things. Just do your best. So
Very good. Anybody else have any questions for Mandy? All right. Well, we
Okay.
thank you for joining us, taking your time this morning.
Sure. Thank you.
If we were,
All of the mute applause. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
oh.
Love it.
All right. Well, and Al, thank you for lining up Mandy, and the timing was perfect. So good to hear about our support of our veterans on this Veterans Day. So everybody have a great week. And Dave, what's our program next week?
It's somebody.
I
Yes,
don't
for me,
remember.
too early for me. It'll be in the newsletter. It'll be news.
All right.
We do have somebody. I just remember who it is.
Okay.
Did you
We will
notice
see
I
everybody
joined you?
next week. Mandy,
I'm
good
sorry.
to talk.
Carolyn,
Good to
Thank you,
talk to you.
Mandy.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
God bless.
Good talk.
Yep. Same to you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.